thinks I'm entitled when that's not the case. Like, it's never been about the money for me. It's more so the relationship and for me personally.
From 50 Cent, who's long been caught up in messy disputes with his son Marquise Jackson over child support. To man, this situation just keeps getting deeper.
Man, he be tripping, he be on me too much. Everything I do, he got a problem with it. Real shit, everything I do, he be hating.
Boosie's son Tudira, who claims his own father criticizes and hates on almost everything he tries to do.
You don't send your kids nothing, and you be beating on sugar. You beat on sugar, and you have sugar over there crying.
Finesta Time's son, who opened up about the non-stop abuse he says he faced at home. These are 10 rappers hated by their kids, and we're starting this list with 50 Cent and Marquise Jackson. Beef between Fif and Marquise is easily one of the most public father-son fallouts in hip-hop history, playing out across interviews, social media, and even song lyrics for over a decade. And it all traces back to 2008, when 50's relationship with Marquise's mother, Shaniqua Tompkins, completely imploded in the messiest, most public way possible. Over the years, Marquise has described a heartbreaking shift in their relationship, saying things went left when he was just 10 or 11 years old. The child support situation only made things worse. What started at a staggering $25,000 a month was eventually cut down to $6,700 once Marquise turned 18, a number he publicly said wasn't enough to survive in New York City, and one that quickly became a constant source of tension between them. Things reached a dark level in 2018, when 50 commented on Instagram under a photo of Marquise standing next to the son of one of his enemies, saying something so cold it stunned even his most loyal fans, that if both of them got hit by a bus, he wouldn't have a bad day that then. In 2020, 50 took it even further on Instagram Live, saying he'd choose Tekashi 6ix9ine in a known snitch over his own biological son. That statement alone sent shockwaves through the culture. Marquise later tried to reach out publicly in ways that were both creative and painfully emotional. He even offered his father $6,700 for just 24 hours of quality time together, a sharp callback to the child support figure that had come to symbolize everything broken in their relationship.
You and Eminem talk about your kids. Where are you and Marquise at right now? How's your relationship with?
I don't have a relationship with him
at all whatsoever.
No, it's an unfortunate situation.
When Fif was asked about the strained relationship, he shifted much of the blame to what he called programming from Marquise's mother. According to 50, Shaniqua had been poisoning their son's mind for years, constantly drilling into him the idea that his father owed him a narrative Fif says slowly turned Marquise against him.
All I can think of is the entitlement being filtered, right? So you gotta imagine, how do you make a privileged child feel deprived or angry? Like big, you say, when he comes into his own and he starts to have interest in his identity.
When asked at another point about actually sitting down with his son to work things out, 50 didn't hesitate. He came off dismissive and openly skeptical, implying that Marquise's public calls for reconciliation were driven more by clout than any real desire to heal their relationship.
You know, actually, your son wants to sit down with you.
No, he doesn't. See, Charlamagne, you would call me. You don't call TMZ to say you want to sit down. Think about it, man.
For his part, Marquise has said time and time again that it was never about the money. For him, it's always been about the relationship. He's made it clear he's willing to sit down, really talk it out, hear his father's side, and finally share his own hurt, all in the hope of building something new from the wreckage.
I don't even know if a sit down can actually restore the situation. It's just more so it's an olive branch. Like, if you up for it, I'm up for it. I'm definitely willing to sit down with him and so I can hear his perspective and gain a little bit of understanding.
As of 2025, 50 Cent reportedly removed Marquise from his will entirely, leaving everything to his younger son, Sire, citing what he calls responsibility. Next up on our list is Ghostface Killer and his son, Infinite Coles. Wu-Tang Clan's Ghostface Killer built his legendary status on raw, emotional storytelling. Bars that painted cinematic pictures of struggle, loyalty, pain, and family ties. His albums are filled with shout-outs to his mom, siblings, and his hood. But according to his son, Infinite Coles, that same loyalty and emotional depth didn't extend to his own kids. In May 2023, Infinite publicly called his father a deadbeat dad in an emotional Instagram post that rocked the hip-hop world and left fans stunned. Infinite claims he hasn't had a real conversation or visit with his father in over 15 years. A decade and a half of silence from a man whose music preaches family and keeping it 100. He shared the struggles of growing up without basic utilities, scraping by, and even living in a homeless shelter during the COVID-19 pandemic. While his father enjoyed the fruits of his legendary career, touring the globe and living large. But there's a deeper, more painful layer to this story. Infinite Coles is openly gay and has suggested that his father's discomfort with his sexuality played a major role in their estrangement. He's pointed to homophobic language in Ghostface's music, the casual slurs, and aggressive masculinity, all of which left him feeling that there was something fundamentally wrong with who he was as a kid.
Let me tell you something. Ghostface Killer disowns his son because Ghostface Killer thought he raised a warrior. He thought he had a son cut from that Wu-Tang cloth. Woo with it, woo. Ghostface Killer thought he had a son that was gonna rock Timberland boots, 13 and a half, a white beater, and some goddamn blue 501 Levi jeans. You know how them New York ninjas do. But when his son came out the goddamn closet, Ghostface Killer couldn't handle it. He disowned him. He turned his back on the gay son because he thought his legacy would fail.
In September 2025, Infinite dropped tracks called Sweet Face Killer and Dad and I from his upcoming album, songs that directly confront his father's absence with zero filter. His bars questioned Ghostface priorities, challenged traditional notions of masculinity, and laid bare the pain of a kid who just wanted his father's love and acceptance. But Infinite has been careful in interviews to clarify. These tracks aren't meant to attack or destroy Ghostface's legacy. They're raw expressions of love, pain, and a desperate hope for reconciliation, a hope that might never be fulfilled. Adding another layer, Infinite found the support he desperately needed from his uncle RZA, who funded the album and provided the emotional guidance Ghostface never gave. Meanwhile, Ghostface has remained completely silent, never publicly responding to his son's music or accusations. And while his other sons, Sun God and Supreme Intelligence, have collaborated with him and spoken positively about their relationships, Infinite's experience of abandonment makes his story all the more isolating and painful. Next on the list is another rapper whose kids reportedly hate him despite millions in child support: Uncle Luke and his children. Luther Uncle Luke Campbell, the Miami-based pioneer and co-founder of 2 Live Crew, built some of the most controversial, boundary-pushing music of his era, even taking his battles all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court for free speech. A true cultural icon, a man who never backed down from any smoke. But when it comes to his own kids, Uncle Luke says he's been completely defeated by their hatred. In multiple interviews over the years, he's revealed that despite paying well over $2.7 million in child support, plus hundreds of thousands more in legal fees, he never gets Father's Day love, birthday calls, or the connection he dreamed of having. He blames the kids' mothers for poisoning them, filling their heads with stories of neglect and abandonment that he insists aren't true. And then came a moment that left interviewers speechless. A declaration from Uncle Luke so shocking it became one of the most talked about moments in his interviews.
I'm not sure if you've seen the internet and some different reports of, your daughter on there kind of, I guess, it's not a good thing, but I guess trying to reach out to you or just say something.
Well, I only have one kid.
Really?
Son.
Really?
Yeah, I only have one kid.
I thought, Luke, with the reality show and everything, didn't you have your other kids and everything on there?
I have one kid. His name is Blake Campbell, and he stays with me, and me and my wife raises him, and that's it.
That statement, "I only have one kid," had everybody buzzing. Fans and media alike knew that Luke had fathered multiple children with several women over the years. The comment was essentially a public disowning, a declaration that the kids who rejected him were no longer his children in his eyes. He went on to break down his perspective in brutally raw, unfiltered terms, laying bare the depth of his pain, frustration, and bitterness. A man who conquered stages and courts but still felt utterly defeated in his own home.
I made mistakes in my life, you know what I'm saying? And I like kids to understand how their kids and everybody to understand. It's important to practice safe sex, and it's important to, not have without condoms because you'll be sperm donating, and when you sperm donate, then to angry parents, angry mothers, then unfortunately the only thing is about a check, and when you get a check, then the results of that check ends up where your sperm donation kids are online talking bad about you. So I'm like the Chinese, I'm like the Japanese. I spent a lot of time in Japan. Like the Bible say, honor thy mother and her father, or your life will be short. And the Japanese folks say, once you disrespect your mother or your father, your parents, you know what I'm saying? You wash your hands with them.
His daughter Lisa, also known as Cree, publicly accused him of putting hands on her and her mom and being emotionally absent, sharing viral videos around 2010 to 2011 that detailed her grievances in painfully raw detail. The drama was so intense, it even made it onto VH1 reality shows, including Luke's Parental Advisory, where viewers got a front row seat to the family dysfunction. Luke famously challenged his estranged kids to drop his last name if they hated him so much, pointing out what he saw as the hypocrisy of using his fame while despising him and everything he stood for. Next on the list, Boozy Badass and his daughters. Boozy's never held back. From politics to social issues to parenting and sexuality, he's always outspoken. With 8 kids from 6 different women and a 9th on the way, his family dynamics are a straight-up maze. But his very public feuds with daughters Poison Ivy, Eviona Hatch, and Toriana Hatch have become particularly explosive. Poison Ivy's conflict centers on her identity as a lesbian and Boozy's complete inability or refusal to accept it. On a September 2024 episode of Young Miami's Care Shop Please podcast, Bowie admitted he forbids Ivy from bringing her girlfriend to his house, fearing it would contaminate his other kids. Ivy clapped back with a nearly 15-minute Instagram video, part heartbreak, part fire. She accused her dad of emotional neglect, caring more about his public image than her, and said she'd finally had enough of the constant public bashing, even though she acknowledged he wasn't a bad father overall and did provide financially. The video went viral, forcing Boozy to post messages like, "Never meant to hurt you," and "God got us." A full reconciliation hasn't been publicly confirmed. Meanwhile, the situation with Toriana was arguably even more dramatic and toxic. In August 2023, Boozy reportedly took back a Mercedes he'd gifted her after she chose to move in with her mom instead of staying with him. Toriana went on Instagram Live, playing audio of a heated phone call where Boozy allegedly threatened to black her eye and remove her from his will, while referencing his past legal issues, including time on death row for murder charges he was ultimately acquitted of. The whole saga was messy, public, and deeply painful for everyone involved. Another stark example of family tensions behind the fame.
Why'd you take that car away?
Because her mom filed child support on me, and all of them was in on it together.
Meaning who?
My daughter.
And her?
Boozy later confirmed on camera that he actually followed through on his threat to remove Toriana from his will. His words were cold, final, and left no room for debate. A stark reminder of just how messy and public these family battles can get.
What kind of mama do that? Now the level of disrespect she got, it ain't no wood. I did take her out my will. Ain't no, I did. I did. Ain't no, it has been done. I did whatever to raise that child, right? Shit. Tried everything. The disrespect you have for your daddy, you ain't gonna get nothing when I leave here.
Beyond his highly publicized conflicts with his daughters, Boozy isn't the only rapper facing intense scrutiny. Uzi came under fire after admitting he had arranged encounters for his underage son and nephews, supposedly to train them and prevent homosexuality. Experts across the board slammed the practice as grooming and outright child abuse, casting a long shadow over his relationship with all his kids and raising serious questions about his fitness as a father. Next up, we move to a story rooted in abandonment. Benzino and his daughter Koi Lare. Benzino, the former co-owner of the legendary hip-hop magazine The Source and a rapper himself, has watched his daughter rise to superstardom with hits like No More Parties and Players. But behind the scenes, their relationship has been anything but smooth. Koi has publicly shared the hardships she endured after her parents' separation, claiming that the family went completely broke after Benzino was ousted from The Source. She's described how her mom had to take on multiple jobs just to keep a roof over their heads, and even resorted to sleeping in cars when they couldn't afford anything else. Kai started working as a teenager, taking any job she could find because she couldn't rely on her father for support. As her career took off, the tension only escalated. Koi accused Benzino of envy, claiming he refuses to celebrate her milestones, like Grammy nominations, and instead uses her rising fame for his own clout, fueling a bitter and public father-daughter feud.